YouTube, what is up? Hope you've all been doing well. It's your boy, D-Mart Training, coming back at you after a little bit of a hiatus from making videos. Today, I hit a leg day session. It was gnarly, and I wanted to record it for you all to get back in the swing of making some video content. So in this video, you'll see me going through a workout designed by the RP Hypertrophy App. I'm in week 3 of a 6-week accumulation mesocycle. Big fan of the app, been using it since May. I would recommend it. Try it out for a month if you haven't already. So I'm filming this intro after I hit the leg day. I'm breaking down all of my cues for these movements, my thought process for the program design, because I did do all the exercise selection for my goals. So hopefully you can get some good takeaways from all of that knowledge. It was a great session, one of the best leg day sessions I've had in quite some time. Before we get into it, please hit this video with a like, comment any questions you might have down below. Subscribe, ring that notification bell, follow me on the socials. Let's get into it. We are starting out this leg day with some leg press calf raises, and you might be thinking to yourself, who does that? Why would you do that, David? And there's a couple of reasons, and I think that you should try out starting your leg day with calf raises. So the first reason, first and foremost, a lot of us have lagging calves. For those lucky people out there that genetically are gifted with calves, and you don't have to train them, I would still even suggest a set or two for calf raises. As you can see here, real quick, deep range of motion, full stretch on my calves, pausing briefly at the bottom. I'm less concerned with the lockout because there is more hypertrophy under the stretch, and this leg press in particular allows me to get a great stretch. So we're going 15 to 20 rep range here. I hit 3 sets total, but this is the first set that you're seeing. So another thing that I really like about starting leg day with calves is that it kind of loosens up your ankles, gets some blood flowing through that area, helps with ankle mobility, and that's a huge thing for squatting, is having adequate ankle mobility. So your squat pattern is going to improve when you start out your leg day with calf raises. So kind of a dual benefit, not only bringing up a lagging muscle group, but also getting that benefit from there. Now, if you've followed me on Instagram, you've probably seen me highlight these Spanish squats. So set the Spanish squats up by banding around the back of your knees and then just sink into a squat. This keeps your squats on a great track, and it allows you to really nail that movement pattern down. I like supersetting calves, something that's a little less systemically fatiguing with the Spanish squats, and it just sets you up for a great squat pattern later to come. After that, I hit abs. I always like hitting abs first on a leg day because it kind of primes my core and gets me ready for bracing later on in the session. I'm doing kind of a terrible form on these toes to bar, hanging knee raise, toes to bar. My eccentric was not controlled, and don't get me wrong, I'm still rotating my pelvis up and under, which is important to do in a knee raise type movement, but I think I was just being a little ambitious here, and I realized that after I watched the video back. So I wanted to get another set to alter the form and kind of regress it. So you'll see that shortly, but another kind of movement primer that I like to do to make sure my hip flexors are staying healthy is this kettlebell knee raise. So I'll just step up on a slightly elevated surface, start with my left side was injured, so that's my weaker side. And then I think I did about 10 reps here, just driving that knee up, getting some blood to the hip flexor and training that, because typically the hip flexors don't get trained a lot this way, so it could be important to incorporate from time to time. Maybe not every mesocycle, but from time to time, I think this is really a beneficial thing for y'all to try out. Wanted to make sure I showed you guys a little bit better form on these hanging knee raises though, so I didn't go quite as high, but I wanted to control the eccentric slightly more, so just to prove that I did it. Next, we're getting into the single leg hammer strength leg press. Now, I do this next in this session because, like I mentioned, I injured my hip flexor, and as a result, my left side got really weak. So one of my goals in my training right now is to build up my left glute again, because the difference is honestly shocking. And single leg variations are a great way to isolate the problem and build up strength from there. So as you see, real slow eccentric here, driving through my heel to target my glute. My foot is positioned kind of like in the middle of that platform, and I'm really focusing on that glute stretch and driving through the heel there. Slow eccentrics. I think I hit about 10 to 12 repetitions here. And the key here with this, guys, is to set the baseline with your weaker side. So let's say I hit 11 reps on the left side, and maybe I could do 15 on my right, but I don't want that imbalance to perpetuate. So I'm only going to hit 11 reps with my right side. And you're gonna get a view of that here very shortly. I'll say the movement quality on my right side is a little bit better as I'm still building up that left side, but this is something that I'm working to kind of remedy. So here is the right side, nice and controlled. You see that I have a deep range of motion through my glutes and I'm driving through that heel. Now there's plenty of ways to do this because I think this single leg hammer strength leg press is probably not a very common machine, but you could definitely try a single leg press. In fact, I would encourage it on a regular leg press if you haven't before. And then also other options, of course, could be Bulgarian split squats or reverse lunges with a front foot elevated on a Smith machine. That is one of the best glute movements I've ever experienced, but I wanted to give those a break and work in this single leg press because it's been hitting good amount of quad stimulus, which is something that I need as well, in combination with the glute stimulus. So big fan of this movement. Definitely give a single leg press a try because it's not something that I see all the time in people's programming. And we're closing out the set, making sure to maintain good form. Form can never slack, guys. Next up, another primer that I like to do, hit the hamstrings first, is this hammer strength plate loaded seated leg curl. Now I'm a big fan of this machine. I know some people don't love it a lot, but I think I get a crazy stretch and a great pump off of these leg curls. So a couple keys are, make sure you're using that seat belt. If your machine has a seat belt, you should probably try to use it because it's going to lock you into place and increase your stability with that movement so you can direct more stimulus toward the muscle. So as you can see here, I think about driving my heels right into my glutes and squeezing my hamstrings like a bicep curl. And then I'm going nice and slow, not letting that weight fling back out, but actually contracting my hamstrings as I lower the weight as well. The eccentric control is huge for these movements. So make sure you're not slacking on it and definitely focus on not just the contraction, but lowering the weight as well. And your workouts will improve tenfold. This has been a huge revelation in my training lately, and I did what's called a Myo rep match. So in my first set, I got 15 reps. I think I had 12 there, a couple deep breaths, and then you're right back in the set, getting the remainder of the reps necessary to match the reps that you hit on your first set. Because if you're training hard, you shouldn't necessarily be able to match your performance on that first set. Your number of reps might decrease if you're going hard. So great set there. Hamstrings before a squat pattern is money. And that's what we have next in this workout is some hack squats. The Nebula hack squat, chef's kiss. Amazing machine. Love this machine. And as you'll see here, I started out by potentiating my next working sets. So I'm going a little bit heavier here to prime my nervous system, kind of get my body used to some heavy weight. I had 2 plates and a 25. So we're taking it nice and slow, controlling that eccentric. I like to do a brief pause in the bottom, full stretch on those quads, and then driving up. So what that's gonna do for the rest of my session, so now that I'm already primed, I'm used to a heavy load for my legs, I'm gonna use my working weight of 2 plates and a 10 and hit some reps with it. So once again, guys, you can see that deep stretch on my quads here. Like I am squatting deep. And a couple things to help you do that are weightlifting shoes, and I also have what's called VersaLifts in the heels of my tier weightlifting shoes. Now, I have done a review on these squat shoes. They're really good. Wide toe box. I think it's like a 0.75 inch elevated heel, but with the VersaLifts, I have an inch of heel elevation. And what that does is it takes a little bit more off your ankle mobility so you can squat nice and deep. So if you ever have a hard time squatting deep, of course, work on your hip flexibility, work on your ankle mobility, but some squat shoes can definitely be beneficial as well. We're nearing the end of this set, and what I realized that day was the first set felt real heavy still, and I didn't quite hit the desired proximity to failure. I think I ended up with like 13 reps here, something like that. And it felt really heavy, but upon watching it again, I realized I was kind of slacking. And look, like the reps slowed down, but I might have been able to get 1 or 2 more to really lock into my goal intensity. And it feels tough, guys. It's gonna feel brutal, but that's okay. And as it's later in my mesocycle and I really want to get bigger legs, one thing I like doing to increase metabolite accumulation and just make this workout even more brutal are air squats, body weight air squats, supersetting with those hack squats. And I'll tell you what, a body weight squat has never felt more challenging after you push a hack squat nice and hard. So set up, feet about shoulder width, toes splayed out to 15 to maybe 35, 45 degrees. Hobble over to my camera. Angle. Different angle on this second set. Controlling that. I was pretty happy with this set because I made it up in my mind to match reps the bottom. My first set, I was like, Dave, you did not go hard enough. It's time to turn up a little bit. If you want to get these legs up, you're going to have to put in the work. So nice, slow, eccentric, pause, drive up. Rinse and repeat that, and I promise you guys, you will get bigger legs. Another thing that I think a lot of people that are solely focused on hypertrophy struggle with or maybe sleep on is bracing. So I do wear a belt for machines. A lot of times people might overlook that because they think, oh, like of course I'd wear a belt for back squats, but I don't really use one for machine work. I use a belt for leg press and hack squat. And what that's able to do is really just lock my core into place so it's not a limiting factor. My core, my low back is not the limiting factor, my quads are. And of course, a great bracing pattern is important as well. So what I think about with my bracing is taking a deep breath into that midsection and filling that midsection up as if there were an inner tube around my waist. So I'm taking the breath to feel the pressure around that belt, and then I'm squeezing those abs hard and flexing them as if someone was about to come up and just whack me in the stomach. So last couple reps here, the set got pretty hard, but I was proud of myself for matching my performance and getting the job done, because sometimes that's just what you got to do. And this one, yeah, it definitely kind of stole my soul. And I did one more set. I did 3 sets total, but I didn't record that one because I was super in the zone. The last set that I'll show for you guys today are some RDLs, and I had to go pretty light on RDLs because I was taxed from this session. But getting a deep stretch on your hamstrings through a hinging pattern is super important. So whether it's an RDL, a good morning, a straight leg deadlift, a deadlift with a slow eccentric, definitely incorporate those into your leg days. Don't just do machine work for your hamstrings, because the sheer raw stimulus magnitude, how hard this challenges your hamstrings and glutes, is crazy. So what I think about is hinging my hips back so that I'm aiming my butt toward the intersection of the ceiling and the back wall. And that allows me to keep a neutral spine and place a lot of the load on the hamstrings and not my lower back. So crazy stretch, only go as deep as you feel comfortable. You don't have to touch the floor if the mobility isn't there, and that's okay. Definitely be doing more voiceover, maybe even more just mic'd up type of workouts in the future. And it's always good to impart some knowledge while we're at it. So appreciate you guys. And now let's get to the closing of this video. Yeah guys, that was the video. Hope that you got something out of it. Definitely was a fun time putting this back together and getting back in the swing of making a YouTube video. Real quick, I just gotta say, I've kind of been having a cathartic experience where I'm really getting back into bodybuilding now that I have this goal of massing. It's one of my goals. So the goal is 212 by the end of October. I'm like 205 right now. But man, there's something to be said for this process of getting my 6 meals in for the day, waking up, packing my meals the night before, making sure everything's prepared. It's like chop water, carry wood. It's like you're a samurai. You're just building those habits day in and day out. And I'm starting to see those apply into other areas of my life, my work, the coaching that I do on the side. By the way, drop me a comment down below if you want to work with me. My main niche seems to be body recomposition, so putting on muscle and losing fat, or shoot me an email. Here's my email, or it's down linked in the comments below. If you're feeling a little lost, or if you're feeling like, damn, like I don't have direction right now, or I feel like I'm slacking, Just get in the process. Set a fitness goal. Maybe you want to lose some fat. Maybe you want to gain some muscle. It's really powerful when you're locked into that goal, putting in the work in the gym. You're putting in the work with your cardio. You're putting in the work getting your meals prepared. That is going to bleed over into other aspects of your life, and I promise you're going to benefit from it. So that's all of the soapboxing I'm going to do for you guys today. Stepping down right now. Once again, like the video, comment below, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. I'll see you on the next one.